Let's go for a walk. Hi, Ben. I'm filming you as you leave. That's not creepy, right?
No, just a little bit.
Okay, just creepy enough?
It's working.
Okay, I'm keeping the camera on you. See you Saturday. Well, now that Ben's gone, I would like to talk to you for a little bit about stuff. I realize it's been a while since I've recorded a video like this, probably been like 3 or 4 years. Since I made that video, I've trained at the Second City Conservatory, the I.O. Theater, and the Annoyance Theater. I've met a lot of really great people. I've networked more in the Chicago improv community than I did when I was working in the traditional theater community. And I've grown a lot since then. I think my confidence got shattered for a while because when you're going through training centers and improv, there's all these different philosophies and all these different things you're trying to apply while doing improv shows with your own little independent teams that you create and perform at little bars around Chicago. And it's tough, but it's interesting. Every year that I was doing improv, my perspective on what good improv and bad improv would change. And really my whole perspectives on comedy and performance in general were changed because I came to realize that the writing side and the performance side were two different halves of my brain, and improv was sort of blending them together. And now when I write, I don't sit down at a desk and overthink like I used to. I will improvise it and I'll record it like I'm doing right now, then transcribe it or re-improvise it until I'm comfortable with it. And then sometimes as I'm memorizing material and learning it, I'll continue editing it that way. So it's a very organic process. And I find it's a very effective way to write, a much more effective way than sometimes just sitting down and writing, because if you're doing that, you're thinking like, what would this person say? Or how would this person say this thing? And they just say it. I would also say improvisation has helped me just as an actor in general, because sometimes when you're an actor and you have a script, you focus on how should I say this thing. But acting is not about how you say it, it's about why you're saying something, and that informs what you say and how you say it. Another thing this year is I started releasing my film Off the Cuff. It's a documentary I made about the Chicago improv community. I wanted to share with people who don't know what the improv community is, what it is, and why it's important to people. Some people are obsessed with getting onto SNL, and that's, in their mind, the vehicle to getting there. And other people just are maybe lawyers in the office, and it's kind of therapeutic for them. So in 2013, I spent a year doing that, interviewing people, not just fellow students or performers I'd met, but teachers and veterans of the community, people who've been in it for 15, 20, 25 years. And it's given me a lot of thoughts, and I want to get some of them out. Hopefully the camera's not too shaky. Is it too shaky for you? Is it too shaky? Okay, one thing I've come to discover about the Chicago improv and sketch comedy community is it can be very culty in some ways, very cliquey. There are different theaters. I'll wait for the train. I was having a coherent thought, now the train is coming. Thanks a lot, train. Yo, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, train. No, thank you. No, thank you. That's another thing improv's helped me with, is reacting to things in the moment and embracing them and accepting ideas and being a better collaborator in general and not being bitter about stuff. There are people in the community who are bitter because they've plugged away for a long time and not gotten anything, who are really good and deserve it, and it's just a numbers game or who you know. And so there's that aspect of it, maybe a stereotype or a misnomer about some improvisers, but in some ways it's true. Procrastinators are drawn to this art form, and so sometimes I've tried to organize projects and they fall apart because people who say that they're interested are not really reliable. When you're a beginning improviser and you don't know how to draw a crowd and you're learning how to do it, you're performing for other performers, and other comedians are kind of a tough crowd. A lot of us are subjected to comedy so much. In some ways, there's not a lot else in our lives. It's what we love to do. It's not just a hobby for us, it's a passion. Most of the people in the community going through it are in our 20s and 30s, and we don't know what life holds for us. We tend to have existential crises, and that's going on while we're trying to learn rules from a training center about how to play pretend the right way, and people get in their heads about that and over-intellectualize it a lot. It's called show business for a reason. You have to be business-like and have a certain sense of professionalism, and then having fun with what you do. This is a really fucked up intersection, and I don't want to get killed while trying to make an internet video because, you know, I have priorities like staying alive. But that's what you have to do. You have to think of yourself as an artist and also as a business. Whether or not you have professional aspirations, just be proud of what you do. There are a lot of people that I've met in the comedy community who do a ton of projects. That's great. It's good to be versatile. But at a certain point, you also have to consider, like, am I growing while doing these things? Or am I just sort of half-skilled and half-assing all these different projects? And so all the things that have happened thus far in my life and career pursuits kind of got me to think that way of just what are the things I want to do? What's the stuff that feeds me? There are people who get caught up in the ensemble aspect of improvisation and they do what's good for the show rather than let themselves have fun as well. And another train, I was on a good tangent with this thought, and you interrupted my thought? No! What about me? In the end, it comes down to what makes us happy, because I believe it was the Dalai Lama who said the purpose of existence is to be happy. I mean, yes, some of us don't want to be 50 years old performing improv in bars. That's valid. It's finding an outlet that makes you happy. Finding ways to work with other people. That's another thing I did at the start of last year, was I created a web series called Unprepared, which enabled me to seek out people in the Chicago comedy community that I had never worked with before or gotten to work with as much. And we just put a camera on a tripod and improvise, and I cut it down into the videos that you can find on my other channel. We live in a culture of Facebook and tweets, seeing little mini capsules of other people's lives and comparing ourselves to them. That's just a waste of time and energy, and I think our time would be better spent developing our own personal growth, our own artistic growth, becoming better people, becoming better performers, stretching ourselves, trying out stuff we never thought we would be capable of doing ever. Every time I do an improv show now, I try to push myself to do something I've never done. Sometimes I'm surprised the weird shit that comes out of my mouth. I feel good where I'm at. I've had, of course, those thoughts about am I progressing the right way at the right pace, but everybody progresses at their own pace. I myself am kind of a late bloomer with everything. Breaking out of my shell, becoming a musician, generating my own business, romantic relationships, all of it. So, hey, if I push through, you can too, whatever that's worth to you, because I was a horribly shy person, and I'm kind of the same as I was before. The only difference is now I'm in an adult body and I have to live an adult life while still having the same kind of fun that I had when I was a child playing pretend. That's what it comes down to. It's knowing why you want to do something. So if you're an artist or an aspiring performer, or if you're just a guy who makes videos, be proud of that. Be proud of what you do. Don't doubt yourself, because doubting yourself is the main reason we don't pursue anything at all. And that's the easy way out. And I'm not taking the easy way out. Hopefully that will eventually pay off. That's all I can ask for. I mean, you can get to know the right people, take all the right classes, you can do all the shows in the world that you want to do, but if you're not enjoying it and you don't push yourself to grow, you might get bitter after a while. But we're human beings, we're different every day. And I think the more we come to accept the fact that things are going to be different every day, the same way in an improv show maybe, that you have no idea what's going to happen, and even if it gets really weird and totally incomprehensible, just be okay with it. Then that's a good place to be. Oh, it's my mother's car. Oh, we've come full circle to the whole car thing. Look at that. I got my key.
I got my phone in my pocket.
Okay. Bye. Well, I've reached the end of my walk here, so thank you for joining me, and do you. Take care.